Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Sunday morning show. Good morning, Bernie.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, everybody.
How are we?
Very good. Self?
Another week gone.
They fly by, don't they?
The thing is, the reason how you know that they fly by is because you start running out of course vlogs pretty quickly. You start running out of golf courses quickly, and you go, we need to go and film, or we need to go and get that done.
I would say it's not an issue, but because we've changed format slightly, haven't we? There's all incorporated in one channel, so we're having to produce extra videos, not just a week's worth of course vlogs. It's now condensed down, then we're having to find other content. So I guess filming that content as well as editing it is taking a little bit more time, isn't it? So it's sort of, running out of course vlogs is probably part of it, because we're having to film extra challenges and extra videos to counteract the fact that the course vlogs are more condensed and not so many. So yeah,
it takes time. It takes time to get it right. And I want to know though how the challenge, what people thought of the challenge this week. Obviously, we did the chipper review.
Yeah.
So anytime we get like a quirky golf club, we want to try and maybe create a challenge around that quirky golf club. Like, I'm not saying a chipper is quirky, but it's pretty quirky. It's very rare that you see them in people's golf bags, but they do end up in people's golf bags. And it's a good chipper.
Yeah. It's just a bit of fun, and I personally really enjoyed filming it. I thought it was funny. It was competitive as well. Like, obviously, we were all trying to win, and that was the part of the video. But it was just a bit of fun, wasn't it? It's good. It's hopefully people will see it as that, because the start of the week we had a slightly more serious vibe, didn't we? We
did, and it was serious to a point. I mean, it's that they are serious because it's pure bragging rights.
Yeah.
Office bragging rights, and there is an element of serious golf. And I was reading so many comments, and it was fantastic to see so many people getting right behind the ladder series, and obviously the longevity of that. It just can keep going and going and going as to how many people come onto the ladder, how many matches actually gets played. But when you read the comments of people, it's and then you look back at the video yourself, and you sort of say, I remember someone saying something like, interesting to see the golf swings that come out under a bit of pressure.
Yeah.
And actually they're spot on. Like, we don't ever put ourselves under that amount of pressure when we do a course vlog. Whereas actually when you do it in a match, when you've got almost a medal match, there is going to be an element of pressure and onto those certain shots.
Yeah, obviously YouTube golf is very different to how you'd play in a tournament. And we highlight that by showing some of your regional stuff. We've shown alliances before and bits and bobs like that. But yeah, YouTube golf is very different to tournament golf. You say there's a pressure, but it's only pressure for yourself, isn't it? It's not,
absolutely.
And it is good to show and showcase that.
Yeah. It's not the pressure of cameras being on you or people watching and things like that. It's just the pressure of playing golf and having an actual result at the end. That's the kind of pressure that we're talking about.
There's consequences to the golf, which is good. So I think it works really, really well. And I feel personally, I know we've spoken about it. People have mentioned it in the recent past about the channel. We need to make it a little bit more competitive again, and we've lost that little bit of edge. So hopefully series like that and a few other ideas that I know you've got will bring us back to making the course vlogs a little bit more exciting, a little bit more interesting, and get that buzz back about them. Not that they haven't been good from a filming point of view, from my own perspective, but I just feel like we were lacking a little bit in maybe the last 6 or so months.
Yeah, and I think it's more the fact that because of the players that we have on the channel, like, we've tried to create an atmosphere, an entertainment atmosphere, shall we say, on the golf course that makes it feel like I would be away with my friends on a holiday.
Yeah.
What does it feel like to go away for a golf day with 4 of your mates or loads of your friends, and you play in a 4-ball and you have a good fun crack? That's the type of atmosphere that we've tried to create. However, we've got some seriously good players in our camp, should we say? And actually being able to see them under the gun a little bit is not a bad thing, and I think a lot of people can kind of learn a little bit from it.
Totally. And then when we do a 6-part or a 3-part course vlog, we're more focused on, personally, we're focused on getting good camera shots, bringing the course out in a good light, rather than the golf tends to be probably one of
secondary.
like secondary to all that, because we're trying to not sell the course, we're trying to promote the course. We're lucky enough to be given the course or have been assisted in using the course for several hours, and we appreciate all that. But this is more, the golf course is almost secondary now to the golf, so it's only 9 holes, be round random places that we probably already showcased once. So the actual course, although it's nice to play good course, it's nice to still showcase them, is now not the priority. It's the golf, which I think is a nice blend.
I absolutely right, it is. And it kind of moves on nicely because when we finish this show, Lester and I are heading out to do some more filming. We're over at Bovey Castle. And for some of you, I may have muted this a little bit, but this winter I definitely want to get out and play a little bit more. The last two years, maybe even a little bit longer, I've not competed, which I've really enjoyed playing. I don't go playing like what Paul and James and Gilly go and play in all the regional summer stuff. I've always kept away from that because summer is just too busy. But in the winter time, we have a fantastic series, winter series within the Devon County PGA and Cornwall PGA now. They've kind of merged together. So there's a really good series amongst the guys that get together, and it's a great way of networking and meeting pros and things like that.
To be honest with you, it needs to be supported as well.
It's falling apart in some ways.
Yeah, if people don't support it, then it's going to disappear, and that's not...
So hopefully we can showcase it a little bit more and maybe bring out some other pros. We were just chatting with someone yesterday about that as well, about getting them out to play in the pro events, because they've stopped playing in them, another pro. But so you're going to start to see some videos coming out hopefully this winter of kind of like my journey through playing in events. I really want to try and showcase that. We're going to try and use the stats side of things as well a little bit and see how I'm getting on, see how I'm progressing, and then I can actually go through my own round and just highlight the positives and negatives of what's kind of been going on. But it'll be like a vlog, so you'll get to see every shot, a bit like what we did with Paul. If you haven't seen that video, make sure you check that one out, Paul at Teignmouth. So we're going to try and do a bit more of it.
No, that's good, and I know we said we'll play a few alliances as well, which we'll try and film as well. And when possible, obviously we don't want to interfere too much with a tournament, and sometimes if you say to a pro, can we film you playing in an alliance, then
that's not
it's not what they want, and obviously it's their livelihood, and a lot of these, it's their bread and butter, and that's what they do for a living. So having us tagging along and interfering as such, even though we try not to, sometimes they're not that keen on it, and it's understandable. But I mean, for the likes of you, Paul, you get no choice.
No, it's part of it, isn't it? So we're going to be heading down to Bovey Castle, but this week we've been away filming. We've been doing something, again, a little bit outside the box, not necessarily from playing golf point of view. We've been over to East Devon, and we had a little course walk and a bit of filming and meeting up with the directors of East Devon Golf Club and the members of East Devon Golf Club, because they're going through some changes with their golf course, which not huge changes, but just subtle, bringing a golf course back to its original kind of features, which we have created a video on it, so there will be something coming out on it, but highlighting it today.
To be honest, we were going to just do it as incorporate into the Sunday show, so it was just going to be sort of a standalone piece of 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes, whatever. But there was so much great information from the course designer, architect, from greenkeeper perspective, members perspective, and it's a really, when we were filming it, I was like, damn, this needs to be a video. I felt that myself, and then when you sort of said, I think this needs to be a standalone video, I totally agree with you. So some really good stuff, and it's just nice sometimes to see a little bit behind the scenes.
Yeah, absolutely.
See what goes on. I mean, East Devon is a beautiful golf course, one of the premier golf courses in Devon. But over the years, it's like you said, it's changed, hasn't it? It needs putting back to more original state, I think, to bring out the inner beauty of the golf course.
And even what they've done to it to this point, and they've been doing a lot of clearance and clearing out old brambles and bushes and things around the golf course to bring it back to its original kind of idea, shall we say. So even now it's starting to look absolutely fantastic out there. So we look forward to bringing that video to you. Slightly different, like Lester said, more behind the scenes, but I think from the feedback that we've had from greenkeeping and golf course design and things like that, people enjoy that. So I think it's like
I said at the time, I'm not really for me, that's not an aspect of golf I'm that interested in or that keen about. But I mean, even I found it interesting, and it was just brilliant being able to pick the brains of, you know, a world-renowned leading designer. I mean, and who's got, you know, years and years of experience, and also a couple of really, you know, top-class greenkeepers who are really passionate about what they do, and it's just brilliant to see. Really, it's good for the golf industry and good for everything, isn't it? And we can showcase that. It's even better.
Hot topic then.
Okay.
Something you might not even know about.
Right. Okay.
So it still keeps coming up. I would say that it's been quiet in the last kind of, well, certainly from my point of view, things have been quite quiet in the last couple of weeks with regards to LIV.
Okay.
There is potentially, you've heard it here first, there is potentially a top 10 player that may be signing for LIV. Another top 10. So obviously Cam Smith was in the top 10.
You're not talking about John Rahm, are you?
I don't know.
Because he's already said he's not interested.
Yeah, but Cam Smith said that.
He came out, there was a statement a couple of days ago saying that, because this guy apparently predicts who's going to be joining, and he's got everyone right so far, even when they denied it. But the statement that John Rahm came out with was pretty conclusive. So if he changes his mind, it's a big shift.
So top 10, but there's been numerous accounts come out to say that this is going to happen.
That's
But I'm not
me.
saying it's John Rahm. I don't know who it is, but you've got 10 players there that potentially could be. Scotty Scheffler's top of the tree. It's not going to be him.
He's not going there.
Rory McIlroy.
Well, if he goes, I mean, he's the biggest hypocrite in the world, isn't he?
But
so he's definitely not him.
But people are saying that it's turned into the Rory Tour. The PGA Tour has turned into the Rory Tour. Have you seen those?
Yeah, but you can't. That's like when Woods was dominating and being the poster boy, wasn't it? You could have said it was
Will Zalatoris.
I just don't think many Americans top of the game will leave.
No. Justin Thomas.
Why would they want to do that much travelling? They don't travel as it is, do they?
No.
I can't see any of them. They make good money and their sponsorship, and they're the poster boys. I can't see any of them leaving.
Xander Schauffele.
American again. I'd say unlikely.
Yeah. Victor Hovland.
I mean, you think it's him, do you?
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean,
I don't know. I'm not saying. I don't know.
I'm
just saying there's something come out about top 10 player.
Yeah, I mean, I would say he's about to break it in. I mean, he has already been playing in America and stuff on the PGA Tour, but I would have said he's again another sort of global superstar, isn't he? I mean, I would say he probably would want to concentrate on getting himself towards number one in the world, because he's got the potential to be world number one, and at the moment. Playing that tour, you've got no hope of ever being world number one. It's so weighted, isn't it?
I just think John Rahm and Victor Hovland, I think they're you know, I think if you're kind of in the, well, I mean, my gut feeling is if you're in the kind of top 10 in the PGA Tour, you know, you're a Ryder Cupper. You know, John Rahm Ryder Cup, you know, Victor Hovland Ryder Cup. Would they want to sort of bench that to then maybe think, and the reason I say that about the Ryder Cup, and people could say, well yeah, hang on, Cam Smith was President's Cup. I don't think President's Cup has the same.
No, it doesn't. Of course
it doesn't have the same.
It's not got the history, is it? The start. It's got no history to it.
Status as what the Ryder Cup has. The history. Yeah, you're right, the history of it. So,
it's a tricky,
but again, it's another.
I guess if it's all going to come out in the wash, as they say, and it would all be dependent on what restrictions that get placed over the next year or so, because if there's no restrictions, they can play LIV and then they can play dip in and out of other tours, then there's going to be more people taking the money and signing, isn't there? But I guess if you're able to play on every tour, then why would LIV want to be paying these players money to sign? No. Just have good prize money on the day. So I don't really. So I can't see. Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting one. I mean, it's not.
Still though, to this point now. Still, no manufacturer has got involved with
LIV, no.
As in the players. So there's no that you won't turn up to a LIV event and there'll be tour vans on the range. And so I believe that there is a couple of people that are helping out the players with their clubs. So there's there's a little van there that's not related to any brand.
Okay.
Which is quite interesting. So they're not, even though those players are still playing certain brands, and still stuck with those brands, they haven't moved away from a brand because they've moved over to
quite
LIV.
a few of the companies have distanced themselves from them as well.
They've distanced themselves, but it'd be really interesting to see who makes that first jump. Which brand is going to stay right? We're now promoting that player who is actually a LIV player. Who do you think would go first?
What, as in a
brand?
I don't really want to mention the brand, but I'm pretty sure I know which one it would be. I would have thought.
Go on.
Well, it'd be Hendriksen or TaylorMade, wouldn't it?
Do you think so?
Yeah, because both of them, I mean, Hendriksen has got links to that area, hasn't it? Or around that area, Middle East and, Japan, China, around that area. So it's close geographically, isn't it, to where LIV is based, Saudi Arabia. It's not that far away, is it? Is it?
It's quite a way.
Well, I mean, it's in that. It's not like. Well, it's closer than America, isn't it? Is it?
Yeah.
But I mean, they've got. I would have said them or TaylorMade, because TaylorMade are. They do have the best. If you look at the world rankings, they've probably got the best players in the world using their equipment, haven't they? I'd say.
Well, that's a controversial question now, isn't it?
Well, it's got the most marketable golfers. It's got Woods.
Well, it's got enough. It's got enough over here, on the PGA Tour, isn't it?
That's what I mean. It's got a big influence.
Doesn't need to go. Doesn't need to, does it? Really? Be interesting to know. Interesting to know how many players. Well, you'd have to do the stat first, wouldn't you? How many players are using what brands, and then which brand has got the most players in there?
I guess if a brand also jumped over, or two brands jumped over and just said, right, we're doing LIV Tour, then would quite a few of the players who are sort of contracts running out with certain companies who aren't involved, would they then go, right, I need to go to X because they're involved in this tour and I want to sort my equipment out through them?
Yeah.
Potentially. So you could get like some of the better players on LIV go, right, I'm going to switch from Callaway to TaylorMade because TaylorMade are now on this tour. So you could almost end up with, if a brand does jump, they could almost take the monopoly of players coming on if they haven't got contracts, or their contracts are due, or some of the other companies decide that they don't want to be involved and they wipe people's contracts, or they mutually terminate them. Then they could end up with like the top 10 players on the LIV Tour having one particular brand, couldn't they? Almost a brand monopoly, I guess, which probably not good for golf, I wouldn't have thought, but
tricky one. But anyway, there's a couple of. It's always a little bit hot potato stuff, isn't it, with the old LIV? Who wants to talk first? Who wants to mention it?
It's tricky because we're only speculating. We haven't got any inside knowledge.
And there is a question that people have asked me, which is what's going to happen with those players that all signed up? When you've only got 50 odd players playing each week, what happens to those other players, and how does that process work? I will find that out. I'm going to look into that in more detail.
I don't know. I would have said they probably serve a ban on their particular tour, and then they just return to it. That's what I would have probably thought would happen, and they'd probably get a nice compensatory payout. I mean, you'd have had that in your contract if you'd have signed, and you'd want to be guaranteed something. I mean, I guess even some of the lesser known name players who got signing on bonus will still get to keep that. So, I know they've signed a couple of college players, haven't they, and top amateurs. So I mean, several million they've taken, haven't they? So I mean, you wouldn't be that bothered if you were allowed to go back, would you? With a couple of million in your pocket, play one event, it'd be all right, wouldn't it? You need to play one event.
What would you do with a couple of mil, Bernie, eh?
What would you do with another couple of mil?
You're right. So BMW at Wentworth.
Yep. Flagship event.
Flagship event. Obviously the way in which the event unfolded, and we'll come on to the Queen side of things in just a moment. But the way in which the event unfolded, and Shane Lowry coming out as the winner, which I think was
good winner for the
a good winner for the tour.
I
think big supporter, or has been certainly a big supporter of the European tour.
Yeah.
And now lives out in the States. He's I know he's good mates with Rory. They've become even closer friends over time since they've lived in the States. But I think it was great.
It was a really good tournament, wasn't it? Especially there was some exceptional golf being played on a difficult golf course. I mean,
I've never played it. Have you played it?
No, it's one of them that I want to play. But I mean, Nick Doherty, who's a member there, he was saying that like they were making it look easy, and he was like, "This is a really hard golf course. Like you don't shoot these. I mean, There was a 10 under, and then Patrick Reed came through on the last day as well, shooting a ridiculous score. It's like, I can't see numbers like that on this golf course, despite the fact they were placing and preferred lies, and it was a little bit softer, more receptive. But he said how long it was playing and how they were almost not ripping it apart, but exceptional scoring, which just shows the quality at the top end of golf, doesn't it? It's great to see, isn't it?
Yeah, it is absolutely fantastic to see. And I've watched Paul play around there, in that event, playing in it, and it's a long track.
Yeah.
Even when it wasn't playing that, when Paul played in it, it wasn't playing that wet.
No, because he would have played it earlier in the year, wouldn't he?
Yeah, it was slightly earlier in the year, so he, but it was running a little bit more for him, but it was still a long golf course, and I think, Paul unfortunately missed the cut by a couple of shots, I think, in the end, but, to shoot, I can fully understand what Doherty's saying, to shoot 10 under around there, it's phenomenal golf, phenomenal. And then for Shane Lowry to get around that golf course without a bogey, I mean,
54 holes without bogey, that's pretty impressive, isn't it?
Well, 54 holes without a bogey anywhere is impressive, let alone somewhere like that in a tour event like that.
Yeah,
so
100%.
A good winner. Played on a fantastic golf course, one of which I would really like to play. I'd like to play the other course there as well,
Yeah.
I'd like to try and get on there and film around there at some stage if we can.
Yeah, that's up. Wentworth's up there for me. I want to play St Andrews Old.
Yeah.
That's on the bucket list. And I really enjoyed when we went to Sunningdale.
Yeah,
which I think you put a vlog on. Did every shot, didn't you, last week? So that's the full length course log if anyone wants to check that out. When Paul and James had a practice round in the Sunningdale Foursome. So they're the sort of 3 courses I've sort of got earmarked to try and play at some stage. Whether I'll manage that in the next few years, I don't know. But I definitely want to.
You should try and get onto those. That it's just a case of paying your money and off you go, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I mean, they're just once in a lifetime for me. So they're definitely on the list, the UK bucket list. Yeah.
So we should mention it. Obviously, it's been a sad week and a half now. With regards to the Queen. It's been a lot of TV, certainly in the UK. I don't know what it's been like further afield, but certainly in the UK, as the TV has been on all week regarding the history of the royal family, the history of the Queen, and her life has been showcased right the way through these last sort of week and a half, should we say? And whether people are royalists or not a royalist, choked me up a little bit, I must say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I'll be honest with you, I'm not a royalist. It doesn't interest me that much. But she dedicated her whole life to, serving her country and fulfilling certain obligations. And I mean, even a couple of days before she died, when she swore in the new Prime Minister and did all that, and she was. There's some brilliant stories that have come out, which you only ever hear about. It's always unfortunate. You have a funeral, you have some reflection after, and then these great stories come out about what was said and what happened, and just she seems to be like a remarkable woman. She was, she did our country proud, really, and other countries that are part of the British Empire in the past, and Commonwealth and stuff like that. So so it's obviously. You did hear the one about when she was out walking with a bodyguard at Balmoral, and these tourists came up, didn't they, and were like speaking to them and didn't realise who she was, and asked him if he'd met the Queen. He's like, oh yeah, I've met her a couple of times as bodyguard, and he's like, oh brilliant, and they've got a picture with.
They're American.
Yeah, they're American. They got a picture with the Queen and stuff, and got her to take a picture of them and the bodyguard, and it was only a later date that they actually realised that
they were talking to the
Queen. Yeah, but she's just that's quite sort of shows how down to earth and how a people's person she was, which is brilliant.
She had the sense of humour.
Yeah, which is what you want, isn't it? I mean, it's just so just a shame, really, isn't it? Oh, she was still a good age, 96.
Well, good innings.
Yeah, and she
fantastic innings.
Yeah, she'll go down. She's got a legacy and go down. It's one of the all-time greats.
I would absolutely agree with that. So, funeral tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it's a day. It's I don't know if they call it a bank holiday day, do they, or whatever they call, but it's a day. It's a holiday day in the UK. So I will not be putting a vlog out tomorrow because I think it's a day where We'll push the vlog back a day, but it will just be a day of reflection.
Yeah.
Should we call it? Let's call it our reflection day. So there will be no vlog tomorrow evening.
There will be one on Tuesday, though, won't there?
They will be back out on Tuesday.
And that is
Bramshaw.
Yeah.
So we'll be back out at Bramshaw. Jordan's away. Jordan's away on another holiday. I've never known anyone go away on holiday.
It's like a tax exile, isn't
He
he?
keeps going back to the same place. So I don't know what's going on out there.
No, I reckon he's got a young lady out there.
There's something going on. He does like his little Spanish trips, doesn't he? So yeah, there will be no vlog on Monday, but back out on Tuesday. And
is that a three-parter? Tuesday, Wednesday,
it will
Thursday?
be a three-parter.
Yeah.
We've got a few other videos coming out, but I think that's it. I haven't got anything else that I need to talk about. Do you have anything you would like to say, Ben?
No birthday wishes or special mentions for anyone. No. So
one last thing I would like to say is Patreon membership is going fantastically well. Thank you so much to everybody that's got involved with that. If you don't know about the Patreon page, head on down to the link in the description down below, and you can go and have a little look at it for yourself. It's
appreciate all the support. So thank you very much.
If you want to get involved with our membership area, please head down there, check it out. And I know it's going to, with the exciting things that we've got going on with it, with the new plans for the live show side of things down in the studio, I'm excited with it. I'm excited. Yeah. So yeah, it should be good. And that's it. Sunday show done and dusted.
We better go off and
we better get going.
Paul win this tournament.
We've got a tournament to go and win. So we'll see everybody next Sunday.
See you next Sunday.
See you later.